How many of you know about the Reawaken Tour? By the way, I'm working on a new book called How to Lose $2 Million in 4 Years. The Reawaken Tour. It's incredible. But one of the things you got to do is if you're going through hell, you can't stop, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I remember, who remembers COVID? Just brief, who remembers COVID? So this is how I remember COVID. This is how I remember COVID. He remembers COVID. He was with me during COVID. This is how I remember it.
Yeah.
I get a call and somebody says to me, hey, what are we going to do? What are we going to do for COVID? My clients, what are we going to do for COVID? What are we going to do? I'm like, well, I'm going to do 100% of nothing for COVID, but that's what I'm going to do. So, like, what are you going to do? And I'm going 100% of nothing. But then my wife, we're driving down the road. We're driving past a Quick Trip gas station at 111th and Memorial. If you're from Tulsa, that makes sense-ish. We're there 101st and Memorial. And she says, what are we going to do with COVID? And I'm thinking, it's getting weird. People are, who remembers that? People are asking. Oh, yeah. Then my clients who are doctors, they're telling me, hey, what are we going to do with COVID? And there's 160 clients like a cult. What are we going to do with COVID? What are we going to do with, who remembers this? What are we going to do with COVID? And then people start using weird words for the first time. Like, I hear it's asymptomatic. I hear it's asymptomatic. They don't even know what it means, but they're saying it because it's a new word. I hear it's asymptomatic. I hear it is. I hear it. Then I started seeing mutual friends of ours, I won't mention their names, who are doing the elbow thing. How are you? It's good to see.
Hey, it's good.
And I'm going, okay. Let me just articulate the following 4 points very quickly, then we can shut up and get back to work. 1, the models that said 2.2 million people would die from COVID, they're false. And we know this because Deborah Birx has said they're off by 25 times. And we know this because Neil Ferguson, who made the models, he said they're off. Folks, my wife is 5 feet tall. If I were to tell you she's 125 feet tall, that would be off by 25 times. We're on the same page? That's false. Also, the PCR tests are false. And we know this because the inventor of the PCR test, Kerry Mullis, had said, my test should never be used to test for COVID. That's it. That's who said that? The inventor of the polymerase chain reaction test said this. He also said Fauci's a pathological liar. Who said this? Kerry Mullis, okay? And then the treatments are real. And we know this because the treatments for COVID were present on the NIH website before COVID. So budesonide, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine. And we know, look it up, Sean, that the system and method for testing for COVID-19 was patented in 2015. Thus, it was planned. So I'm thinking I'm going to do 100%. Who remembers that? And at that point, everybody I know thought I had lost my mind. Literally, people I've known forever are like, you're part of the problem. You're spreading the virus. You're putting out misinformation. And then YouTube deleted hundreds of thousands of subscribers in every video right away. And then Christians in my life began calling me saying, Clay, Christians are working together to stop the spread. And you got to align with science. The world is going this way and you're being negative. That's fun. I'm being negative if the models are false, the PCR tests are false, true. Then comes the mask calls. Remember the mask calls? Wear a mask. Remember these people? Wear the mask calls. Wear the mask in the lobby of the restaurant because that will keep you safe. But when you sit down, take the mask off because it's not deadly. It's a tall virus. It's a tall virus. It's very unnimble. Who remembers this? And then people are like, you got to put the RNA modifying nanotechnology inside your body to protect yourself from it. What? Why would I want to put messenger RNA in my body to protect myself from anyway? Whew. But it's made by Bill Gates and he hangs out with pedophiles. Trust him. Anyway, so that was my experience with COVID, okay? So I'm telling you this because you're going through hell. Somebody's going through hell. In my personal life, it was just like everybody around me was going, you have lost your mind. You've always been a little bit, but now we're really concerned about it a lot. That was my life. Who's gone through hell? When my dad got Lou Gehrig's disease, that was not awesome. Who can relate to that? I remember talking to my dad, discovering he's going to die slowly from suffocation. That wasn't awesome. The first time I got sued, that was fun. Who remembers that? The first time you got sued, wasn't that great? A breakup. And sometimes we just want to kind of get to the good part, don't we? We just kind of want to get to the good part. Do we not? Fast forward. And so I wanted to bring in a speaker today, somebody who I called her. I begged her to speak. She did not ask me. I called her. I said, Jami, her husband is a client of mine. He has a business. They do like landscaping and outdoor. Like they build like boulders and they put up trees and they fix stuff that's wrong with your home and they do irrigation systems and that kind of thing. And his wife has been battling cancer And she just refused to stop. And she's had this awesome attitude the whole time. And I thought, you know what? We should have somebody who's credible in this subject come up and talk about if you're going through hell, why you shouldn't stop. So ladies and gentlemen, please stand to your feet and greet a cancer survivor by the name of Jami Sullins. Yes. Okay.
Thank you so much, Clay. Well, here's one thing I know. I know that my God is a good God. But this year has been some bullshit. Do you ever think you'd hear God and bullshit in the same sentence? Well, you just did. So this has easily been the worst year of my life. But thankfully, I am a believer in Jesus Christ. And I know that he's going to take this garbage of a year and he's going to use it to my benefit and his glory. So I just realized that yesterday was the 1 year mark of the day that I stood in front of a machine that squished my boobs and looked to see what this lump was. Now, I'm not used to talking to this many men. And we are on a topic that is interesting to talk about in front of men. So bear with me. So I had that mammogram on March 5th of 2024. That led to an ultrasound. That led to a biopsy, which led to a phone call. My husband, Paul, and I had just been having a casual lunch at our favorite Mexican restaurant. We'd finished up lunch and he was paying at the counter and my phone rang and I saw the phone number. And I stepped outside. I said, hello. She said, Jami, this is Dr. Sullivan. Have you looked at your My Chart? I said, no, I haven't looked at it. And she said, good, because I didn't want you to read it first. I wanted you to hear it from me. Jami, you have breast cancer. You have breast cancer. I knew I had it before she said. I'd had 3 different tumors before, the first at 18, the second in my 20s, the third in my 30s. Thankfully, those were all benign because I was still busy with college and then raising kids. So I am thankful that this diagnosis came at the time that it did. My kids are all grown and out of their house, and I have a little more freedom in my schedule right now. Not that anyone ever wants cancer, but timing was good, I guess, if you can say that. So breast cancer can come in many different forms. There's many different types of breast cancer. I have what was called invasive ductal carcinoma. But the worst thing was I was what is called triple negative. That means that they don't know what is feeding my cancer. A lot of breast cancers are hormone related, so you can easily do a hormone blocker and it'll stop the cancer. I had what was called triple negative, meaning all the tests they run on my tumor, it was negative for all of them. That means they throw everything at you. So on that phone call, I learned triple negative. I was told, you're going to start chemo. You're probably going to have radiation, and they're going to amputate your breasts. But first, you need to find a surgeon. So I was going to start with chemo, but I had to find a surgeon first. Well, that was interesting. Here's the thing. People know the crappy stuff about the chemo, and you get sick, and you throw up a lot, and you lose weight, and all this stuff. There are so many things that people don't tell you about a cancer journey. The first is choosing a doctor. How are you supposed to choose a doctor that is supposed to save your life when there aren't Google reviews for them? How do you do that? So I listened to my primary care physician. She gave me a couple recommendations and she said, go home, research it, but you need to make a decision by tomorrow. I had a very invasive cancer and there was no time to waste. So I did that. I went home, I got on the computer, I looked up the doctors that she had mentioned, And how do you choose a doctor? Do you choose someone that's young and fresh out of the field? Do you choose someone that's been doing it a long time? Again, there's no way to know other people's experiences from doctors because people just don't talk about those things. So we chose the doctor that she first recommended, and I called her back. She made the referral, and I didn't hear from them in the next day, and I was terrified. So I call the office and I say, hey, my doctor sent a referral, but I haven't heard anything. Conversation went on a little bit. She said, okay, what is your insurance? And I said, well, I don't have traditional insurance. I have a medical co-share. And she goes, oh, we don't take charity cases. That's exactly what I thought, but I got pissed too. And the tears started to flow because I'm one of those people that when I get mad, I cry, and I'm trying to explain, I'm not a charity case. We can pay our medical bills. We just don't have traditional insurance. She was not having it. My husband called. That didn't go well either. My doctor even called, and they basically refused to see me. So my doctor calls back and says, we can keep fighting this, or you can choose a different doctor. Okay, let's go to plan B. And we did choose a different doctor. So that was one thing that was really difficult that they don't talk about. Another thing that happened was after I got my port put into my chest that they could put the chemo in, and I was all ready to go for chemo, I get a call from the hospital. And again, it's about the financial situation. So we understand you don't have traditional insurance, that you are on a co-share. We need to let you know that we're going to need payment up front for that chemo treatment before we're going to start your chemo. And I'm like, okay, we can do this. I said, how much is that? $45,000 for one of my 16 chemo treatments. Oh, but we have a discount for cash pay customers. That'll be $14,000 when you walk in the door. I had weekly chemo for 12 weeks. I needed $14,000 a week for 12 weeks. Long story short, we had to get traditional insurance. We figured that out. So I didn't do a lot of research on my oncologist. I just went with the one that my surgeon had recommended. And it worked fine for a while until I said the word, I'm seeking out the help of a naturopathic doctor to go along with my traditional medicine. My oncologist looked right at me and said, you're wasting your money. Don't do it. Every time we would question this doctor about anything with my treatment, he would say the word protocol. It's protocol. It's protocol. Long story short on that, I fired him. I did finally find an oncologist after a lot of work that would not work hand in hand with my naturopath, but they knew each other existed in my world and they were okay with that. It took a lot to find that doctor. It took a lot of phone calls from friends and family that knew him as well, because in the oncology world, once you start with a doctor, you finish with a doctor. They don't want to touch you if another doctor has been treating you, because if you die, they don't want it on their watch. And that was something that I had to possibly face. So on December 3rd, I had an amputation of both of my breasts. I don't like the word mastectomy because that sounds too sweet. I had an amputation, which was terrible, but it also came with the words cancer-free. Now that surgery was December 3rd. They started my reconstruction immediately. My body rejected it, which led to an unplanned surgery where they removed my expanders out of my chest. They flushed out my chest cavity, cleaned off those expanders, put them back in. 2 weeks later, my body rejected it. And 2 weeks ago, I had another surgery. So I am now rocking a mono boob, but we're gonna work with it. So the plan now is to just wait for 6 months, let my body heal, let some of this poison work its way out of my body, and we try surgery again. Now, I have a lot more stories that people don't tell you about cancer treatment, and I am currently writing a book. But if you go to jamiesullins.com, you will find a blog where I've blogged about a lot of my journey. And also you can sign up for my newsletter where you'll be notified when my book is finished. And also learn a little bit about a nonprofit that I will be starting. Here's the thing, through all of this, I just had to learn to stop and breathe a lot. Even through all of that in this past year, I had a business that I was working before the diagnosis. I actually worked up here with Andrew for 14 months. I started in January of 2023 and stopped when I got my diagnosis because I knew that I'd be fighting for my life. But even through fighting for my life, this past year, I saw a 9.5% increase year over year in my sales, while my entire industry of home fragrance saw a giant dip. I earned the annual sales award for my company. I recruited 9 new team members to my business, and I had a 10% year over year increase in my commission pay, all while my team sales numbers declined. I began work on a new book, like I just mentioned. And who in this room believes that God can make beauty from ashes? I knew I was in the right crowd. I knew it. So one of the things that I discovered while I was in the middle of treatment is that there are no cute head coverings for young people that are bald. When I lost my hair from chemo, I tried to find some cute beanies and they just didn't exist. The beanies were either uncomfortable, they were hideous fabrics, they looked like they belonged on an 85-year-old woman, not a 45-year-old that loves fashion. So I went to my sewing machine and I designed Comfort Beanie. So these are what I wore through my treatment. They are super soft. They are in way cute patterns. And they're cute on. Now, being bald is a statement in itself, and I did that from time to time, but I preferred to wear these. And because of that, I am starting a nonprofit. I will be selling these, but also doing a give back to cancer treatment centers and hospitals. So they will be available for all patients at those facilities. Put it on. So you can wear it even if you have hair. There's no rule that says you have to be bald to wear it. Okay, so I talked about all of the benefits that I experienced during my cancer treatment. So let's talk about how I did that while I was fighting for my life. But first, we have to start about what I was doing before the tragedy. Like I said, I had been working up here for 14 months with Andrew, one of the coaches. And with him, I learned, number one, I needed to do a website refresh with optimization. So you can go to jamiejosellswax.com and see that awesome website that they helped me with. And we're doing the search engine optimization for me. I learned the power of Google reviews. I am now the highest rated and most reviewed Scentsy consultant in the US. That took a lot of work, I grew my YouTube following by 66%. 66% increase in my YouTube following. Now, I'm not monetized. That's not my goal with YouTube. My goal with YouTube is for advertisement and to teach people how to properly use my products. But 66% increase, that was huge. So you can go to Jami Jo Sells Wax on YouTube. You guys can find me everywhere. I worked to create relationships with my customers. I was doing that through texts, through emails, through snail mail, you know, that box out at the street where people put stuff in. So I considered my stuff happy mail or smell mail, if you will, and also grew my social media presence. But here's the thing, more than anything, I work to create routines and patterns. So my business required no thought And that's what we want. We want things to become habit. Now, I knew that this had really been working 2 weeks ago when I was coming out of anesthesia from that surgery I mentioned. So if you've ever had a surgery and been coming out of anesthesia, there's this weird period during waking up where you're aware of things going on around you, but you can't open your eyes. Your words aren't working yet, but you know everything that's happening. So I'm in this little bit of a fog of that period of time of waking up. And the nurse station is over to my left. And I hear the nurses talking. It's right before that big snowstorm came in here. And the nurses are talking about who's picking up overtime shifts and who's going to stay sleeping at the hospital so they don't have to get out on the roads. And I hear one of the nurses saying, well, I'm picking up every single overtime shift I can because my son's on this new sports team and it's so expensive. And in my mind, with my eyes closed and my words not working yet, I'm thinking, I need to talk to her about my business opportunity. And I needed to do that because I knew that the business that I have with Cincy could help her pay for all those sports things. But my words weren't working. So sadly, she didn't get to hear about it. And she's probably working overtime right now as we speak. But I say that to reiterate the power of just routines in your brain. I wasn't even fully conscious, fully awake, but I had created business routines that still came to mind in that state. So that was something really important during that period. Now, during this past year, obviously, I didn't work my business to the fullest. So I want you to think about a merry-go-round. Remember when you were a little kid and you wanted to get on the merry-go-round? When you first start that merry-go-round, you have to push really, really hard and maybe get a couple of friends to push with you and really work to get it going. Really work to get that merry-go-round going. But eventually it gets faster and faster and faster. And the great thing is when it's in that phase, you can step away from it and take your hands off of it and the merry-go-round still keeps going. Thank goodness that I had that merry-go-round going strong and going at a good pace. Because while I was fighting for my life, I had to prune my business tasks to decide what really needed to be done. I stopped filming YouTubes, but as we know, YouTube lives on. I continued to get customers and recruits from my YouTube channel. I stopped constantly asking everyone for Google reviews, but we know that Google keeps working as long as they don't pull your reviews down. So Google kept working. I kept getting calls of new customers thanks to Google. My monthly mailers went to quarterly mailers. My weekly emails went to monthly. But here's the thing. I constantly kept up with my customers that were making purchases online because they were the ones that were making my house payment. And I needed to keep in touch with them. So I stayed very consistent with my thank yous. I stayed very consistent texting my customer base, not only about business things like new products coming out, but I texted them about my health and where I was at because my customers had become my friends and they were concerned about that as well. Oftentimes I would get texts from my customers checking in on my health and not even asking about products. That told me that I had done my job well of creating those relationships. My Facebook posts went to sporadic, but you have to know what works best for your customers. You guys are in all different fields. You have to know what works best for your customers. I know that text works best with my customers, so that is what I kept super, super consistent. Here's the thing. I learned to put myself and my health first, and my business got to be second. Now, that's kind of counterintuitive to everything you've heard this morning, but my pyramid, my F7 goals kind of got flipped around a little bit for just a year. Now that I'm feeling better, I'm starting to get healthy again, I can go back to those F7 goals and really make sure that they're in check and that I'm prioritizing the things correctly. But they did do a little flip-flop for a while. Another thing that I learned during this was sometimes quiet and stillness are good. That's how I came up with Comfort Beanie. If I wouldn't have been quiet and listened to the Lord, I wouldn't have had the idea to do that, and I wouldn't have the idea to start a nonprofit to help tons of other women feel confident and beautiful during their journeys as well. So I'm really excited about the next chapter. Like I said, I'm writing a book. Please go to jamiesullins.com, sign up for that newsletter so you can hear about the book. And I'll be working on that nonprofit. The bottom line is you never think that it is going to happen to you. I don't know what it is, but it happened to me. You never think it's going to happen to you. But if you're working your business in the best way right now, it's not just best business practice. It is insurance for the future of your business, because tragedy doesn't tell you it's coming. It just happens. So you can probably tell from my attire, I like fashion, I like bling, I like super sparkly things. And I've learned that life is just like a disco ball. It is. The music is going to keep changing, but when it changes, you can't leave the dance floor. You just have to change the way you dance. So think of that next time you see a disco ball. One more time, please check out jamiesullins.com, sign up for that newsletter, and thank you so much for sharing my story with you today.
Clay, my honor to be on your show, and thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you. So congratulations.
Sean, guess what's happening June 5th and 6th right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem?
We are probably going to have an amazing business conference here at Tulsa, Jerusalem.
Yes, we're joined by Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow is going to be joining us right here at the Thrivetime Show World Headquarters, June 5th and 6th. He's a very successful football player, obviously a Heisman Award winner, but he's also a very successful entrepreneur. Now, when you work with real clients, Sean, real clients you really work with to help them grow their companies, do you ever hear a business owner tell you that they didn't have time to get something done?
Every day.
How often is not having enough time a problem for business owners?
All the time. It's like maybe 90% of the issues as people are trying to grow their company.
Well, Tim Tebow is going to come join us here at the in-person Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshop, and he's going to teach us time management and his approach to personal self-discipline and getting things done. Also at the workshop, I'll put up on the website so people can see it here. Also at the 2-day interactive workshop, Sean, we are going to be, there it is. We're going to be teaching accounting, systems creation, marketing, human resources, how to hire, inspire, train, and retain great people, accounting, social media advertising, search engine optimization. Sean, what's the area where most clients ask you for help the most? Is it generating leads? Is it hiring people? What's the biggest issue that most business owners have by default before they come to one of our workshops?
Well, I think it's management, because time is the most valuable resource for these business owners, and being able to manage their time is the first thing. Once they get that under control, then generally the numbers, being able to track their business and be able to make the best decisions based on numbers rather than emotions is a big area. And we teach all of this stuff at the business conference, particularly you, Clay. You love to hammer on time management. It's my favorite part of the conference.
Now, I'm going to pull this up real quick here because we're going to go through. If you're not excited, I want to get you excited about what we're going to cover at the workshop here. Okay.
All right.
The 2-day interactive workshop. This is my 20th year hosting workshops. So I'm telling you, folks, we're in rare form here. So one is the idea of establishing your revenue goals. I think most entrepreneurs don't know their revenue goals. Would you agree, or am I off my rocker?
No, that's totally a very important point we do with every one of our new clients that come on board, is we have to establish the revenue goals. And generally speaking, we have a vague idea, but not an exact idea that can be engineered down into like the daily goals for sales. And so that's a really big one.
Now, next is the break-even numbers. What kind of sales do you have to do to even break even?
Yeah.
Third is, how many hours per week do you want to work? What is your ideal schedule as an entrepreneur? Box number 4, how do you stand out in the clutter of commerce? What makes your company unique from all the different businesses? In a world of brown cows, herds of brown cows, proverbial brown cows, the analogy of brown cows, how can you be the purple cow that stands out? How can you be the squeaky wheel that gets the oil? Box number 5, branding. How do you improve the perception that people have of you, your business, your brand? Box number 6, Marketing, your three-legged marketing stool. What is a turnkey way for you and your company to generate leads so you can succeed? Because if you don't have any leads, your business will bleed. If you can't sell, your business will go to hell. You've got to generate leads. Sean, how often do business owners by default tell you they have a hard time generating leads?
It's almost all of the time. It's really a huge struggle. And many times they may be creating leads, but just through word of mouth. So they get to a point where we've implemented systems and then they need to create more leads, but they've never had to do it. So there's a lot of different scenarios where business owners are like, how do you create leads? Something we hammer on at the conference a lot.
Box number 7, create a sales conversion system. Again, box number 7, create a sales conversion system. Sales scripts, recorded calls, one sheets, pre-written emails, lead trackers, all of the sales tools, the sales print pieces, the one sheets, the big screens that you see inside the business. Whether you're a doctor, you're a dentist, you're a lawyer, you got to have sales systems in place. We help you with that. Box number 8. What does it cost you to get another customer? Step number 8, what does it cost you to actually acquire a customer? Step number 9, it's hard to build an organization if you're not organized. We're going to teach you how to create repeatable systems, processes, file organization. Box number 10, we're going to teach you how to manage people, real people on the planet Earth. This just in, we're going to teach you how to manage real people on the planet Earth. Box number 11, how to create a sustainable schedule that works for you and your family. Step number 12, how to create human resources systems for recruiting, hiring, training, and retaining great people. Box number 13, accounting. This just in, we have to cover accounting. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. We're going to cover all the accounting things you need to know. And step 14, finally, what is the point of even achieving success? We're going to go over what is the point of even achieving success, how to design a life that you're excited about, how to design a life where you carve out enough time for your faith, your family, your finance, your fitness, your friendship, your fun, and where you're going to spend your focused time. We're going to go through that, all this and more. Now, the workshop, Sean, it's June 5th and 6th. Yep. It's a 2-day interactive workshop.
Yes.
And tickets, we always do it. It's $250 or whatever price that someone can afford. Sean, why do we let people name their price? Why do we have scholarship tickets available if somebody can't afford the $250 general admission ticket?
Well, we don't want anybody to miss out on it. You know, you could be at a startup phase or you could be, way along in your business, but we want to make it accessible for everybody. I think it actually goes back to a story of your dad. And like, it goes all the way back to how you've always done this as a business coach, trying to make sure that, your average people out there have access to the things that work.
Now, 7 a.m. to 5, Sean, why do we go from 7 to 5 both days? I mean, it's 10 hours a day. 20 hours of training over 2 days. Why do we do 10 hours a day, Sean, of back-to-back workshops? We do a 30-minute teaching session. We do a 15-minute question and answer session, and then we take a break. 30 minutes of teaching, 15 minutes of question and answer, then we take a break. Why do we do that format, Sean?
That format is so that we can keep people engaged and not just sitting there listening, but also getting involved. We really encourage people to ask questions, and that's really where the juiciness of the conference comes out, is you can put your personal situation and your questions on the board, and Clay will tee off and give you direct advice. Even without being in our coaching program, you can get direct coaching from Clay. It's really a very engaging format. I enjoy it a lot.
Sean, final 60 seconds pop quiz here. What date is the conference?
June 5th and 6th, 2025, this year.
Question number 2, who's our keynote speaker coming to the conference there, Sean?
Tim Tebow is our keynote speaker.
Sean, question number 3, how much does it cost to come to our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I think it's, did you say it's $250 or whatever you can afford?
That's right, $250 or whatever you can afford. Sean, how do you spell Eric Trump backwards?
P-M-U-R-T-C-I-R-E. Ooh, that took a long time.
I'll have to listen to this. Right. All right, again, that's Sean Lohman. I'm Clay Clark, inviting you to come join us at the in-person Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive workshop, June 5th and 6th, right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Sean, I'm excited to have this event. I'm excited to see you at the event, June 5th and 6th, right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tim Tebow, baby. It's Tebow time in Tulsa, Jerusalem.
You could be anywhere doing a lot of different things, but you chose to be here.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
Hey guys, Luke Erickson here with the Thrivetime Show. As you can see behind me, we've got all kinds of energy going on. People are starting to show up for the conference, and it is hot in this place. We got grill guns over here. We've got people playing the drums. We've got a fire breather, and man, people are so excited as they come in. The conference is kicked off. This house is packed. We've got Aaron Hansis with Shaw Homes up there. We've got Steve Currington with Total Lending Concepts up there talking about what is possible when you just implement, when you do the proven system. It's so exciting. People are going crazy. Guys, Luke Erickson with the Thrivetime Show here with you. It is day 2 and the energy is high. People are so excited to be showing up. The team is ready. Come on, let's see what it's like to go on in for day 2. Follow me. I'll tell you what, people are so excited to be here for day 2. It is going to be incredible. Cannot wait to see what today has in store. Right now, here at the conference, we've broken into groups going over search engine optimization. I know for most of us, myself included, if you hear that term, you go, what is that? What does that mean? That's too techie for me. Well, our experts are breaking it down for people so that you can clearly understand how to come up top in Google. It's doable. It's possible. Now we're in the middle of a break, and what we like to do is we like to give you as much tangible and relevant information from about the start of the hour for 45 minutes. Then we take approximately a 15-minute break to allow people to connect with other entrepreneurs around them, bathroom breaks, and also use this time to just really digest all of the good information that you're receiving the whole time. Right behind me, we've got Bob with his grill gun, melting an ice sculpture. It is awesome. The ice sculpture represents our life, right? It's here for a time, but we all need to have the sense of urgency to implement the things that we're learning so that we can make the most of the time that we have.
I heard about it on the podcast. Started listening to the podcast, became a fan, and then figured out about the workshop. I own an insurance and financial services agency, and I was hoping to learn from the workshop systems and processes. I'm big on systems and processes and always learning better ways to run a business more efficiently. The atmosphere's second to none. It's a high energy, really cool atmosphere to be around. Contagious, I would say. Just something every entrepreneur, I think, would appreciate and love. I'd say humorous, high energy, and full of substance, which I think is the key. A lot of business coaches or seminars maybe are high on motivation and making you feel good, but don't have a lot of substance that you can take back and implement, the following Monday, where his does. Man, there's a lot of valuable things. I'm gonna say, this is my second workshop. The first workshop I took back really the importance of a group interview. I used to spend hours and hours interviewing people, screening resumes, and that saving my time on that part is valuable. It was that and then the sales scripting that have been two major things just so far. Man, I think they're missing out on, expert advice from somebody who's been there, done that, built companies, has learned a lot of lessons. That's what I'm always looking for, is somebody that I can learn from that's ahead of where I am. And I think if you choose not to come, you're missing out on a lot of good advice that could help your business.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us. And it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people. I love working with people. I love building relationships. But one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 investment. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
Clay, my honor to be on your show, and thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you, so congratulations.
And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. Hi, I'm Kelsey with K&D's Woodruff Finishing, business owner at 23. So I've been working this K&D's company for about 5 years now, and we started working with Thrive not too long ago. And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. That's what we're going to hit or exceed. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been pretty much just listening to what they have to say. Their hiring process has just really been incredible as far as finding good quality help, and the just the accountability of meeting up with them weekly, and like such good insight, the resources that they have for specific business questions. It's all been really incredible. It's been a great experience, so I would recommend it to anybody.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black River Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrivetime. It has been insane to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm gonna check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great, and such I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. And your coach will hold you accountable. I mean, which I love. Again, the tough love is really great. You know, Luke's like a stern father figure, but he's also nice, but also stern when he needs to be, when I'm being lazy and not doing the things that I know I need to do because I don't want to do them. So that's just great. Worth every penny. I mean, I'd pay him $1 million a month if I can, and maybe someday I'll be able to, but I would just say go for it. If it seems like a good fit, just go for it. Do what they say, even if you think it's stupid or ridiculous. Just do what they say because it'll work. You know, people, when they look at my business, you know, people in my town, they think I'm lucky. They think I'm just, you know, things just happen for me. And, you know, maybe I am lucky, but it has a lot to do with hard work and, you know, perseverance and, you know, working till you cry sometimes. That's just being an entrepreneur, which if you're a business owner, you understand that. But it's having these systems in place of, you know, of course I'm going to be successful. It's an absolute because I have all this stuff in the background happening, and I have Luke and Clay and everybody on their team working really hard to make sure that I'm a success. And I can tell that they are just so excited every single week when I'm having all these wins and things like that. They're so excited for me. So it's the best thing ever, and I would suggest to anybody to work with them. So sorry for the long-winded reply, but I just had so much to say, and I could go on for hours probably about how amazing they are. But thank you to Clay and Luke and the entire team there, everything you guys have done for me, and I am so excited to continue to work with you for years to come. Thanks so much for watching.
My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach, you know what I mean? And so my coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, you know, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever is important. You know, my rich dad was one of those persons. You're on it, man. You're on it. You're on it. Everybody listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. You have the macro picture. Very few people have that point of view.
Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble.